everybody. My name is James Whitaker. I'm the athletic director at Columbia International University. And today we are doing a feature called CIU Rams Student Athletes. And we're calling it CIU Sport Ministry All-Stars. And today we get the chance to just connect with Blaise Shileds, one of our track and cross-country runners who's back home in Indiana. And just wanted to ask him a few questions about some of the things that he's been involved with while he's been a student here at CIU. So Blaise, just tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what your major is, that kind of thing, real fast.
Yeah. So I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and obviously I'm home right now, just like everybody else. In December, I finished my undergrad in pastoral theology, and now I'm working on finishing my MDiv or seminary, and plan is to be done with that this May. And thankfully, I'll have the opportunity to help Coach Brooker with the cross country and track team this year, and I'm really excited about that. So
that's awesome. Blaise has been really involved with our cross country and track teams, also with our leadership group. We'll give him a chance to talk about some of that here in just a minute. Blaise, what have you been up to these days with the pandemic going on? What's been going on at home?
Yeah, a lot of, so for example, there was some wrenches thrown at my internship this summer, and that's still kind of at risk, as I was hoping to be a hospital chaplain intern. And so we're still figuring out the details about that, but that was pretty stressful for a little bit. All that kind of hit me during finals week. So I spent the first 3 days of finals week trying to put my life together, and then I figured I need to finish my classes. So, but while I've been home, I've still been running some. I don't have a competition season left, so I'm kind of running to stay in shape and keep up with the guys when we get back. And I've been able to help out at church a little bit, and that's been a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about running at CIU. What have you enjoyed most about that? And then maybe as a follow-up, just how do you connect running with your faith and even using that to serve God?
Right. Yeah. I've loved running at CIU. It's also been really hard in a lot of ways. What I love the most about it is definitely time with the team and the skills I get to learn from Coach Brooker and others, what I learn about myself and how I need to improve, not just in my sport, but how I need to improve personally. Believe it or not, I usually like getting up early every day. Me and my teammates sometimes get up as early as 5:30 a.m. to go run. And I can't get away from that habit, that's for sure. I love doing that. But it's also been a huge opportunity for people to minister to me and for me to learn to minister to other people. And so I think what that really looks like, it hit me when somebody asked me a question this last year, and they said, what do you get out of being on the team? One thing I like about it is when you ask your teammates, or at least when we ask each other on the cross-country team, how are you? More often than not, we'll get an honest answer. And I think that's kind of unique to athletics. Most of the time in our social life, we ask people how they're doing, and we can usually get the same basic answer. But I like athletics in that you can ask your teammate, how are you doing today? And they can say, man, life's been sucking. I've been injured for 2 weeks. I don't know how to get better. Classes have been tough, and I like that kind of honest answer. And that's reality, and we see that in each other every day. And what that does is that allows for a chance to be real and say, man, that's really tough. Here's some minimal advice I have for you, because the other side of that is we've all been through that, of long injuries or struggling with classes. And so we can all relate in that way. That's what I like about it.
That's awesome. So what are some of the ways you've been involved at CIU, using your platform as an athlete, share the gospel, to serve others? What are some of the things that you've been involved with while you've been a student at CIU?
Right. I think especially early on, just the opportunity to have conversations with people, and as I've become an upperclassman, to help mentor some of the younger guys and ask them, or even ask recruits. And most of us do this when we have recruits. We ask them, hey, what's your spiritual life look like? Whatever that is, whatever that means to you. What do you think? What do you, think it means to follow Jesus? And why do you want to come to a Christian college? Those open up a lot of opportunities to talk about life or faith, or people. A lot of people just kind of starting out on that journey and saying, hey, how can I help you out with that? And try to relieve some of that pressure. But also, I've been able to work with Rally, our Rams Athletic Leadership Institute, and that's been really fun, but also really hard sometimes. But I know that group has given me some extraordinary experiences that I can learn from, and have learned a lot from, and have really put me ahead of the game in a lot of respects. Mostly just because I'm blown away every time by the leadership and our fellow teammates across CIU, across athletics. And really, I've just been inspired by our coaching staff and some of my teammates, not on the cross country and track team, but teammates on basketball, volleyball, soccer. It really expands your horizons of who you consider your teammates to be, and learning some lessons from them. And then, of course, we get to stand up once in a while on prayer days and help lead others and what that looks like. But I think another aspect to that is we get to set a positive example for others of what athletic spirituality looks like. And I know, some people have had bad experiences in high school of, man, the athletes were this way or that way, but we can really show how being a spiritual leader as an athlete can have a huge impact. And I really enjoy that. So
That's awesome. Blaise is being kind of the sponsor for Rally. I've really enjoyed getting to know Blaise. He's been taking a lot of leadership roles and been a huge part of that group. And so I just want to say how much I appreciate you and all that you've done there. Tell us a little bit outside of athletics, some of the ministry things you've been involved with, with your church and those kinds of things that you've been doing.
Right. Yeah. So, especially in these last days, I've had some cool opportunities here in Indianapolis to help preach at my church. There's a different church in Indiana who's needed help filling their pulpit, and so me and my pastors here in Indianapolis have been able to do that for them. The other side of that is my church here in Indianapolis is also a K through fourth grade school, and I grew up going to school here. And so, of course, a big dimension of this coronavirus problem is the effect it's had on teachers and teaching and homes and families trying to figure out what does it look like for us to help our kids with schoolwork every day. And so what I've been able to do is coordinate with our principal here, and I have the privilege of writing some devotionals that we send out every week that goes to teachers and the SPC families, the school families, and we've gotten some really positive feedback on that. So that's been a real privilege. And then in Columbia, I go to Arsenal Hill Presbyterian, and I get to lead Sunday school for our middle schoolers there, and they're a really great group. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah.
That's awesome. What do you find most rewarding or about doing ministry in the church?
Right. That's a really good question. I don't know. I think one dimension of it is when people experience for themselves who Jesus is and the truth about who he is, and seeing that impact their lives, whether it's, hey, today I've been spiritually encouraged that the world's not ending, that, God's in control and we can even thrive through this. The other most rewarding thing I think I find from it is the companionship, almost like, athletic companionship of Bible studies and getting in groups with guys and saying, hey, we want to be all in for Jesus. We want to know who he is and we want to follow him. And times like that are really rewarding for me to see other people grow in their commitment to that. And when they challenge me to grow in my commitment. So that's what that looks like.
That's awesome. Any recommendations or advice for others, maybe for student athletes or those listening in today, for those who are obviously involved in athletics, but also looking to be involved in ministry?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give is continue to be involved with your athletic community and your spiritual life community. Those are the people who are going to teach you and train you and challenge you in good ways and bad to grow. I think, well, and maybe especially as somebody coming from a sport that's usually considered an individual sport, finding that community is really important. And in athletics, and I think I've seen this in my life, and really I'm talking to myself when I say this, of when it's hard on the track or on the field, there's a want to withdraw and do it yourself and worry about, okay, how am I going to make myself better to take this spot? I don't really care about helping anybody else out. But I would encourage people in those moments, and for myself, to make sure you're calling your teammates, especially while we're all stuck out, doing this, to call your teammates, to talk to them, to help build them up. That's what's really going to make you better and more successful. So
That's awesome. Well, Blaise, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day, man. I just appreciate all you've done for CIU athletics. You've been so involved in your program and with the track team and the cross country team, and just working hard, but also building into your teammates and your coaches' lives. We're excited to see you back in the fall as kind of helping as an assistant coach in your final year of your MDiv program. So anyway, thanks a lot, man, and we'll catch up soon. All right, you stay safe, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later, Coach Whitaker. Thank you very much.
Talk to you later. All right, go Rams.
Yeah, go Rams.